When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, Big Beat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Man, it was a interesting one. Big Beat, I'm going to let you take it away here. What's going on across the globe?
What's interesting is, Howard, that the number of people that asked me over the weekend, is the market's going to crash because of this? And I said, yeah, probably. I mean, the uncertainty and issues that are out there. But when I posted earlier after that happened, 57% of people liked it, right? They liked that that we attacked Venezuela. And I've said the same thing since the beginning. Look, Maduro's a bad person. Should we be the police of the world? Yes and no. Yes, we should be in some ways. But we also don't want to be the police of the world where it costs us is very costly. So when I look at Trump's abilities and our military abilities and what his thinking is, we're calling it Trump 2.0, that he's a strike guy. He goes in for strategic strike, takes the guy up, pulls him out, and brings him back down and bomb a little bit. But there was no costly war here that like we did with, Iran and Iraq with Hussein, obviously.
Well, I'd say the same thing with Trump and Iran, though.
Yeah, Soleimani. Yeah, Soleimani, same situation.
We'll do what we have to do. We'll do it quick and we'll get out.
I told the Khomeini's already saying he wants to run to Moscow. A little scary little dickens. So you know what? Trump's got the whole world on alert right now. And I'll tell you this much: he's also got NATO unconcerned. And Scheinbaum, the Mexican president, this morning just said, "Hey, we got problems. Cuba. We're going after Cuba. We're going after Colombia. This isn't just a one-time thing." And he just said to Colombia and to Venezuela, if you don't keep your nose clean, we're going to come back and strike you again. So the question mark is not now, it's how we handle it as traders, right? Do we go in and we buy oil? I don't think so, because now there's more glut of oil in the market. PDVSA, which is the big oil company, everybody knows about the oil company in in Venezuela will tell you the same thing, that there's an issue there, right? And I called it here in the United States. The problem is not oil. We have a glut of it, and we're going to have even more of it now. The problem is refining it, right? So there are no refineries in Venezuela that are worthy. PDVSA is not that good. I think Trump talked about it a little bit. So what do you think, Howard? I mean, like, is this, when you look at it from the perspective of the average person out there, I mean, for me, I think that this is actually a good thing. Nicolas Maduro is a bad guy. He's a dictator. You saw in Panama where they protested and they were happy. The Venezuelans in Panama were happy about it. So, all right.
I think we got to see the follow through, because if Rodriguez does just take charge and it's the same but different person, then nothing was done.
Well, she's the vice president, right? She just took over power. I mean,
yeah, which is what should happen. But did this do enough to make her understand that she better, as you said, keep your nose clean, better, not, better work with the government, the U.S. government, instead of against them, is a question there. And as you mentioned, oil isn't exploding, but the energy stocks are so far. Chevron, the biggest winner, because they actually are the only U.S. company that is allowed to operate, or was allowed to operate as of before this. But you're seeing Worthington, or Weatherford, who is on the ground there, up about 7.5%.
Halliburton, the other one, is going to do quite well on this. You got to think about the pickaxe and shovels that are going to go into Venezuela now.
Yeah, right? One that you might not think, Halliburton, right? Because they do the infrastructure and secure the people. They secure the ground and the people around it. So watch that one too. But that's more the plays I'm looking at for there on it, is on that side of it, I think. And as you said, I think you got to separate the headline from the trade, because there are two different scenarios. There is, heavy crude that comes from Venezuela is the most sought after, right? Because the uses of it is more easier to refine, as you mentioned. We'll point out, 470 something gas stations just closed in California because the refinery there closed because of rules, regulations, and the fact of a move towards EV. Does this maybe get that reopened? Because you got a refinery just sitting mothballed, just got mothballed this month. So it's still technical, stuff there.
Look, the world is not going to move forward unless we figure out the energy situation, right? So I guess in Trump's case, let's just go take over the largest oil reserves in the world. We've got to also upgrade our infrastructure of energy sources that are renewable, like the sun, right? Like those places. That natural gas is a lot better. I don't know. I mean, I understand what he's doing here with the regime change, right? But I had to go back and look at the Geneva Convention, right? So you can't go after every country and make up reasons. So we have to figure that out, Howard. So when we look at it from the perspective of an investor, how do we play this, right? And this is making people nervous. The VIX is up a little bit, 3.72%. I wouldn't say a little bit. That's quite a bit. The markets are up a little bit, but the VIX is up. So somebody's got to give, right? And so we need to think about this in a much bigger, broader macro perspective than let's look at my charts. I need to understand what Trump is thinking in the future. If he attacks, right. You heard from Xi Jinping, they're not happy. That's their oil. Russia's not happy. That's their oil.
Yeah, they get a lot of, and they're all nervous about Mexico, because if that's his next move, Mexico has huge investments of Chinese. Right, that's what I was going to say. The Monroe Doctrine versus the Geneva Convention is going to be the
Monroe Doctrine
and the laws that go between the two. But Monroe Doctrine is not accepted as law anywhere else except for in the United States.
Except the United States, right? And if you don't know, Monroe Doctrine is present.
That's us us doing it. I will point that out because I did a lot of research on that, because I will tell you, I was chatting with Mr. Flanagan yesterday a little bit, and he threw out the Monroe Doctrine at it. So
but I'm sorry, that's 1823, not 2026.
Right, exactly. And like you said, it's never been accepted by the international tribunals anywhere in the world. So it's also,
and since then we've had the League of Nations.
My question to him was, Steve, and what I would ask is, is this our answer that, okay, you're going to take Taiwan, so we're going to exert our effort and kick you out of the Western Hemisphere, and then you get Taiwan as your prize, Mr. China, Russia, whomever?
That's
Putin,
a very interesting question.
Here's your part of the Ukraine. That's what you got. I'm about to hand you Taiwan. Well, guess what I want? I want the West to succumb to the demands of the U.S.
The last time that this happened was a little thing called World War II. We started carving up the European continent.
Yeah, it's just weird. I know. I'm with you. And Steve, you shorting the Canadians today because they are the big losers in this. Carney has played a hand that might fail here.
I have to ask why. I mean, I think the longer game here for Canada is. That's a good question. I don't know.
Because their trump card was we needed that oil.
It is. And it's a good question. I mean, I don't know the answer to this question yet. I think I need a few more days. I need to understand what Trump is thinking over the next couple of weeks, right? He needs to have a chat with Scheinbaum. He needs to have a chat with Carney. Going after the other countries because Scheinbaum and him are not getting along here.
Oh no, well, he doesn't get along. He's not getting along with a lot of people.
I don't think he's getting along with anybody. Actually,
this is
right.
This thing is definitely it's getting interesting. Like you said, it's tough. I mean, the markets seem like they want to jump, but I'm watching VIX all day. I mean, that's what you got to keep an eye on, right? That's going to give you your answers.
I have to ask the question. Okay, so Steve Flanagan, if you're out there and you want to come in, or Margaret Shark, you want to come on the show, no problem. I have to ask why the question of Monroe Doctrine is popping up now. For those of us who have master's degree, we totally understand politics. Okay, I grew up in it. I'm highly educated on this side of things. Monroe Doctrine really doesn't apply here, in all honesty, because the Monroe Doctrine was put in place by President Monroe in 1823. So anybody want to come in and explain Monroe Doctrine in 2026? Literally 203 years later? I don't know. The world's changed since then.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one on this, and it's going to be a tough one to trade, today is, I think, you got to be, as you said, you've got to be quick. You've got to have your thesis in place. You got to have your stop losses in place. You got a lot to go. Steve Flanagan and the Western Hemisphere are stay out. That's what I mean. That's sort of what I get out of it, is that we're saying, this is the president's answer is going to be, listen, China, you don't want to give us the stuff. Well, Mexico, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, they have those materials too. You need to stay out of there. And we know the ports, and as I said, the one of me that gets very interesting is we know China's built all those ports up in South America and Venezuela and these areas. How are they? Like I said, this seems like a trade for Taiwan to me. It really does.
How is this? Okay, let's ask that question then. If we don't get really technical about it, explain the Taiwan situation. You think China's just going to say, okay, well, United States is playing in their hemisphere. China says, if you're implying in Monroe Doctrine, then China can have Taiwan. I mean, you're still talking about Japan, one of our biggest trading partners. You're still talking about an independent country that has done literally nothing.
Well, I don't think we have the rights to do these things, to be the master puppets, and neither does China and Russia. But, the bottom line is that's what's playing out in front of us.
If that's the case, then this also talks about it in the perspective of red dominoes, right? So when you talk about it from that perspective in Asia, we went into Vietnam because of North and South Korea, because we thought if one country fell, the domino effect other countries would fall. And it didn't work too well in the 70s. It didn't work well in the 80s. I mean, we could talk about Nicaragua with Manuel. I mean, Noriega. Yeah, Steve's asking, Japan goes nuclear if China moves on Taiwan, and that's China's worst nightmare. But you don't think China has nuclear weapons? I mean, they're showing their weapons, and they've got the ships already in the strait right now. Now, I will tell you this much, And for those of you who know, I have back channels to just about every organization on the planet with every letter you can imagine. And my chatter went nuts 2 weeks ago. And I asked a few of my friends in the Pentagon, like, what's going on? Can't tell you, Steve, but something big's going on. All right, great. My chatter is going again, Howard, last night. So something big is happening again. And some people said, well, look at the pizza effect, right? A pizza effect around the Pentagon. I don't know if you've seen that. Okay.
They did it at 1 Yeah, I saw that. And as somebody who knows the owner of Crystal City Sports Club very well, that's when they're slow, because they tried to say that all the bars were slow and the Pentagon was busy.
Right.
First of all, no one that works at the Pentagon lives in Crystal City.
And breaking news right now, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, has officially now dropped out for re-election of Wisconsin now. So he might be a little bit of trouble there, I think.
Minnesota, right?
I'm sorry, Minnesota. Yes, got Wisconsin in mind. Okay, let's get back to this, what we're talking about here. I think China is going to be in a wait-and-see pattern right now. Xi Jinping needs to have a long chat with Trump. I sit down. Let's talk about the future. Because if they don't, we might be carving up a new planet. And we need China. We need their molybdenum and lithium and all the things that go around their rare earths, and they're closing it down. They're already closing down silver and a few other things. So we don't need a world that's been road doctrined, where you go play in your side of the world, we'll play in our side of the world. Well, when Monroe did that, the ships were sails, right? So when a country invaded us, it took them months to a year to come over, right? So you got a different world than we do today. We can go attack a whole freaking country and take out a dictator in less than a few hours now, right? So no, I don't think Monroe Doctrine really applies here. I do think that Trump 2.0 is applying here, which is how he wants to see the world. He's not going into. He does not like. He's said it very often, and I agree with him. I don't like long drawn out wars. I thought Afghanistan was too long drawn out. I thought Iraq, Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield, all of those were too long and very costly. To get one dictator? Now I understand that back then Kuwait, we know that, right? Kuwait was invaded. Know that by Iraq for oil. Oh, really? There's your answer. It's about oil. This is about oil. This is not about drugs or regime change. This is about going after a country that has the largest proven reserves of oil in the world. Anybody thinks anything differently is out of their mind. I mean, you can say it's a police action, which we did in Vietnam. I believe people don't know this. Vietnam was not a war. It's a police action. And I think if that's where we're going to go with this, then okay, then that's where we are. So if we're as investors think about this and we have more oil coming online, there's more of a glut. And it's not very far from Florida to Venezuela to bring that oil. It's not very far from the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it, to get back at the refineries in the Gulf, right? And to turn those on. Those lines are already ready to go. So it's about oil. And I don't think anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
Howard, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's that or about geopolitical power more than anything else, too. I think that it's yeah. I mean, I think it is about scaring Mexico, Cuba, and anybody.
Okay,
Colombia.
Here we go. We just heard news now that we are the United States has seized $1 trillion worth of precious metals in Venezuela.
Yeah, and they have, I think, 3, so they only took a third.
And I think that they have.
I did see that
they have gold, right? We took all their gold. Yeah, this is not normal in 2026. So, is this the new normal? Is this the quantum convergence that Steve Flanagan is talking about? Is this Trump 2.0, where we just take over a country? I don't know. That's what I want to see. That's what as the first thing I said out of my mouth earlier today. I want to see what Trump does over the next few weeks. Does this calm down? Or do we do something different? And I'll tell you on Kalshi, Rubio's chance of becoming president just jumped a lot.
Kelsey also, some new whale opened up a huge long on China taking over Taiwan by the end of the year.
Yes, right. You've opened up the thought process of a lot of people going, wait, if he can do this, oh my God. Xi Jinping goes, oh my God, all right, maybe I can take Taiwan. That's how North Korea started the fights. Oh, well, it's not hard. I can walk around in South Korea. Well, no, you can't do that. The DMZ is right there now, right? We cannot fight, and I said this 3 weeks ago, we cannot fight a 4-theater war or a 3-theater war. And Trump doesn't want that. Trump wants a very precision, planned out thing. And from what we understand, this was planned out for 2 or 3 months, and they were going to go a week earlier, but the weather wasn't good enough in Venezuela to make that happen. So that's the question mark that I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, we need to see what plays out. I mean, Twitter today is just going nuts. I mean, just nuts with everything. Yeah. Trump just said, too, we're going to receive more than $600 billion in tariffs, and I'm not quite sure what that means. I guess that's the payments coming.
I mean, Tariff City is what his name is. I mean, tariffs aren't helping us as a country. It's really hurting us inflation-wise. So I know that the Fed says that's not happening, but it is. And
Reuters now reporting that Venezuela acting president seeks U.S. government collaboration. So we're starting to get some of the answers. Maybe the answer is that, she's going to play nice and, but that same regime being in charge, that doesn't really do much, right?
I don't know.
The markets here.
Yeah, that's a good question there. I don't know, man.
Let's take a look at what we've got.
I'll leave that one for you.
Yeah. We are 10 minutes from the open so far. Dow Jones right now set to open up about 18 basis points, right around 48,700. S&P at 69.29, up almost half a percentage point. And the big winner has been tech so far, up about 87 basis points at 25,605. VIX below 15, man. That tells you there's still a lot of risk on appetite. People aren't running to the exits right now, so that's interesting. With that being said, silver's back at 76.72, Steve, and gold 44.25.
ZSL, baby, ZSL. I'm going to be shorting silver. I have not seen this many commercials on gold and CNBC in months.
I saw you pointed that out over the weekend. Yeah, no, there is a ton of them. And the fact that oil is only up, about 1%, that's got me a little confused. Shows me that even the oil traders don't know what's going on, and they should be the ones with the most knowledge, right?
Yeah, 1%. Yeah. And look, silver's
on this is nat gas, cheap gasoline, bad for nat gas. So unfortunately, that one's down about 7.5% here this morning. We'll have Mr. Flanagan in soon enough, and once you two are done yelling at each other about the Monroe Doctrine, he'll let us know what's going on with the DXY. It got right up to his key resistance at that 98.90. The man does know his numbers.
Yeah, but let's talk about that.
98.86 before pulling back a little bit here. So we'll find out if it's ready to make that move above that level or not. Sectors, it's really all about tech today, 3.88%, or energy, excuse me.
Yeah.
3.88% to the upside is XLE. I will say that that's not a surprise, and the algos are going to trade that up, in my opinion, this morning, because there was a lot of them that were set up on a lot of breakout scanners already. Charlie Moon over at Prosper was letting me know on Friday that AI was pulling up a lot of the energy names as possible breakout targets already. Yeah. So with this news, watch for them to take off today.
But AI is dead, Howard. So we heard AI is not dead. AI is just started, and we're getting wound up.
Tech up 1.27%. Steve, I will mention the name I brought to you. Well, I got to give a shout out to Jeremy Vreeland and the folks at Tuttle Capital, because they're the ones that mentioned it. And then I got into it after talking to them and looked at it. One of my picks for the year is SIDU, SIDU, up 37.9% in the pre-market. Remember, I talked to you about that here on the show Friday. 37.9%. They just got a big part of the Golden Dome contract. Still only has a $282 million market cap. So this is one I'm watching. ONDS, another one I brought up on the show, up nicely here in the pre-market, about 3%. Couple other names I'm watching, Steve. APLD today, UMAC, RDW. So we've got some interesting names on track here around that sort of next generation of defense contractors, the small guys that haven't taken off.
It's the chip sector market, right? I mean, you talk about tech, it's chip sector, chip sector, chip sector. And we can't talk about the chip sector without talking about the metals. I mean, you're talking about nickel and silver, all these metals that come in play. Nickel's at a 1-year high. Silver's super high. This morning you saw copper at an all-time high. I mean, these commodities are getting outrageous, and they can go higher, but we gotta be careful about that.
Steve, we look at the Mag 7, Tesla making a little bit of a move up about 1.94%, but this is after it challenged 500 just 10 or 11 days ago. Now down at 438. Are you buying the dip here, or are you fading the rip?
You know, it's interesting. I got berated on social media the other day that all because of all my Tesla shorts. I'm pretty happy about my Tesla shorts. I looked at my 2025 statement, and my biggest wins were Tesla shorts. It's made me a ton of money, right? But I also don't. I'm also a lot like you in the fact that I don't want to quote fade the Musk. You know, that's your favorite saying. Yeah. And he's got a lot going on, but the price of Tesla is not normal, right? It's way out of the bounds, and it's not something that I'm really excited about, right? I like shorting it because I think it's a FOMO trade, and it's done very well. Okay, folks, Shine Bomb, Mexico's president, says she is not planning to call with Trump for now. Guys, the world's starting to fall apart.
The market today is all about tweet analysis, everybody. You know, this is, as Steve said, today is not a day to clutch your charts.
Right. Today's not a pro clutching day. But I will say I'm going to have a good time on Thursday and Friday at the CMT Association midwinter meeting here in Tampa. So I'm going to get a chance to meet with all the chartists in the world that draw your lines on your charts, our charts. And we'll do something from there. But I want to tell you, once this cleans up a little bit, I think the charts will be the only way to trade. But I think we need a clearer picture until we get there. We're not quite there yet. But
just seeing also Switzerland freezing assets linked to Venezuela's Maduro.
And here we go. Israeli military spokesman says issues an evacuation order for 2 villages in southern Lebanon. Imminent strike coming in southern Lebanon now. So, my goodness, the news this morning is fast and furious. Hey, I want to say thank you for everybody watching right now. If you are watching right now, do me a favor, especially on Twitter, repost it out there. Appreciate that.
Hit the button, give us a comment, tell us where you're watching from.
Yeah. By the way, I want to talk about it. It's ABGO. For those of you who don't, Friday I bought back in on ABGO. I'm a happy camper here. Probably will be taking some profit here.
I'm still in it and will still be in it. That's one of my longer term theses, as you know. I'm a
little heavy. I'll just say that much.
But nice move up. Yeah, chip sector moving up nicely. ASML up about 4% here this morning. ARM up 5%. Intel, a big one, Steve, on analyst upgrade from Milius Research, a company I had not been that familiar with, but it's up 5.23% on their upgrade there. Another one, Coinbase, that we love, up about 5%, 4.5% here on their upgrade. Goldman Sachs moved them to a buy. So
who just bought a whole bunch of more Bitcoin over the weekend?
MSTR.
Okay.
Yeah, that's up 4%. That trade's been turning around here. It's been consolidating. I think it's ready to make a run here. The wild card there is you're 10 days from MCSI making their official decision on whether they're included in the indices or not. I personally think that it's already priced in. They're getting kicked out. And the only thing you have is the room of least resistance is to the upside here. So I am interested in MSTR down here in that 150 level right now. They're trading below the native asset value. Again, I'm going to use Peter Lynch. They're trading below the breakup value of just their Bitcoin. Never mind their offices in Silver Spring and Bethesda and all that other stuff they own. Steve, anything else you're watching here on the gainers? Most of them, again, are either oil and gas names. You've got VLO, CVX, BKR. We are open, Steve. Here we go. Looking at the Mag 7 myself for the start. First moves to the downside on Tesla, 1.81%. Oh, there we go. Actually, a little pump now to the upside. Algos look like they're buying to start off with. Tick starts off fairly muted, but advanced decline is up 1700, excuse me, if I can read.
Sold so much.
Not much of a move on the VIX here, staying right around 15. Now it's the one that's got me. That should be above 18 here. It really should be. Keeping an eye. I've got a bunch of stuff going on here across my own trades. I got to keep an eye on.
Okay, good. We're good. We're good. I crushed. Selling. I actually went on the open because I didn't know if we could push it up on the aftermarket, but I did get out 354.57 there on AVGO, so I'm very happy about that. I might find back here soon because that's what we do. We trade, right? So
yeah, that one's not a trade one for me right now, although I am up 10% on it, so it's getting close to maybe being a trade.
And the tick now is up 4.
I will tell you, I did take some profit on copper here this morning just now.
Smart man.
It broke through that $36 range. That was, we bought it when Peter Thomas brought it down after the tariffs. It went from 36 down to 25 or so.
And just remind everybody, today is the last day of the Santa Claus rally. So it did not. I think I was wrong with this. I think I might have been wrong with the Santa Claus rally. It wasn't as good. We got some of it, so there was an update, but we didn't get it as full as I thought we would. But Doc's
well, the bottom line is we closed. I mean, a Santa rally, you got to end up higher than you've started, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it's not a rally, Steve. I'm not letting you pull out of that one. We did not get a Santa rally.
We did not get a Santa rally, but we
thought we were going to get it. We got something. We got some pumps in it, yeah. But if we went into it with the Qs at 625 and we came out of them at 615,
exactly. Yeah.
That's not a rally.
ABGO is getting absolutely crushed here on this open here.
Definite profit taking. Here.
I think I might need to buy some of this back here.
I do see a penny pump. MNTS making a run here. It's on my screen right now, up 87% here. Was on my morning watch list here. MNTS up 86%, moving to the upside. Holy crap.
What? Oh, yeah, no, don't own that.
CRML taking a nice little run too here. CRML, Critical Metals Corp, up about 12%, running to the upside right now. ASST, another one was on my morning watch list here. Strive, nice little run to the upside. Crypto-based company up about 10.59% here. You definitely see some profit taken on that side do that I like. If it pulls back enough, I would actually be trying to buy some more here. Microsoft and Apple are negative. The rest of the mag is up, being led by Tesla, now up at 4. I'm trying to break 450 here, Steve.
All right. I am buying some ABGO back here. I think that selling was a little stupid. I think that's a retail nonsense. And I love retail nonsense, folks. So I bought some ABGO back here. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good here. I like this a lot. Yeah. Thank you for the free money, and I appreciate that. All right. View orders here. Yeah. And
looking good.
Yeah.
Wow, MNTS continue to move to the upside here. Well, that is just skyrocketing up, now up 99%, almost 100% on the day.
So much going on here this morning. Okay, yeah.
Watching these energy names to see if there's going to be a sell-off, and there really isn't. WFRD holding up, SLB holding up, Valero just moved to the upside, Halliburton's holding up.
ABGO is negative with the NASDAQ up 0.66%. You guys do the math. I think this is definitely a buying opportunity for those of you looking.
Look at a nice move by CleanSpark here too. Some of the Bitcoin mining names I mentioned earlier They're up 7.62%. And
Buying.
Core Technology up 9.32% here, Steve, moving the upside. So we got some definite runners here.
Yeah, I'm loving this. Hey, I love this. The AVGO. Give me just a little bit more breathing room here.
Royal Gold up 20% here too. So we're seeing again, that's the economy of it. Also saw talks that UK was holding about $2 billion of Venezuelan gold that they refused to release to Venezuela.
So much
move
going
up by bit day today. CoreWeave. So again, crypto mining companies moving up nicely. Iron, all moving to the upside. Hut. So the names are pretty small when it comes in, or it's a pretty small swath of what's up today. It isn't across the entire market.
And I might buy just a little bit more here as we do this. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day here. Whew. Keep it going. One more little buying opportunity here in AVGO, and I think I'm going to be about done for the buyback. Very happy.
Yeah.
One more buyback here. That should be good.
VIX is staying muted here, so that's what's got me a little surprised so far. Like I said, I thought I'd see a little bit more explosion there. Advanced declines climbed up to 3,000, so it's now broad market participation in this rally for sure. Silver just broke 76 here, up 4.34%.
No, I'm looking at ZSL, baby. I'm going to tell you that. Not quite there with ZSL yet, but I'll be getting into it pretty soon. All right. I now am in back into AVGO. 3/4 of a position that I normally would get into, and not no heavy one. So just so everybody understands. Brian likes SPY today. Yep, I agree. Yep. All right, I got to look at these numbers here.
Coinbase now up 5%. Nice little move to the upside, 248. Don't look now. Kratos self-defense, 85.24. What a move there. 85.24. We are in, I got to check with Mr. Bauer. We are in a position there between his and my rooms.
I like Kratos Defense, but Kratos Defense just has way too much debt for me right now. I just can't handle their debt.
Got it on a covered call spread.
There you go. That makes sense.
It just went up. It's up 539% today.
That makes sense. All right. This Broadcom sell-off is nonsense to me. I love that nonsense stuff. Take advantage, folks, when you're out there. 93,000 on Bitcoin. How I'm surprised you haven't talked about Bitcoin this morning.
Yeah, yeah, well, I mean, but I'm not gonna lie, it's still all perpetual futures. I told you it was, as you know, you retweeted my thing. I said 94. Yeah. We're gonna hit. If we don't break that, though, watch for, unfortunately, a pullback to the back to the downside. We're not out of the woods yet, but it's moving in the right direction. I love it.
And I'm buying just a little bit more of AVGO on this dip. I think the selling is just about over, so I like that. This dip is nice for me. I like to sell on the open, and I like to buy on the dip. We did this on Friday, and I did it on Thursday, and did it on Wednesday. So I think it's going to play out again. I think a lot of that is options being nonsense. So that's what I like about this trade here. So,
right. Yep, absolutely.
We have crushed it every single time. So I don't know what's going on here. All right. Woo. Beautiful day today, actually. All right. Now 1, 2, 4. Okay. I have a little puppy dog in my office this morning.
Oh, nice. I apologize. Just sending something out here.
43.60. Oh, yeah, I keep selling a little bit of AVGO there. I'm not too concerned yet, but I'm not liking it. It's okay. The selling is definitely silly, but we saw that on Friday. So. Howard, thoughts on Chainlink there?
I love Chainlink, Andrew. ETF has seen some great inflows. They're securing the data for pretty much New York Stock Exchange, Reuters, everybody. They are a chain agnostic view. They're my, outside of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, my biggest position and my biggest conviction is with Chainlink.
Polymarket says they're going to roll out real estate prediction markets.
Yeah, the prediction markets are a little crazy there.
It is for a little while. It's going to be cool. It'll make everybody feel like they're gambling, but I think the whole thing will fall apart eventually.
I can't argue about 90% of it is basically wash trading from what, and when they do these analyses, they've seen this thing where jump capital is playing both sides because if they equal less than $1, if you can buy the long and the shorts for 96 cents, equal amounts, you make 6 cents no matter what happens. And that's what they're doing, is that there's some, arbitrage opportunities.
The Dow's up 470 points right now. The Nasdaq's up 101. There you go. There's your answer. The Venezuelan military now says that the United States killed Maduro's guards in cold blood before snatching him.
Yeah.
Could get nasty out there. Gotta get careful. Still gotta be traders. All right. Yes, Ron and Sana now posting. I'll post this about the Monroe Doctrine. I like that. Smart move there. And I actually know Ron. And so he is now saying that restarting the Monroe Doctrine, however ill-used and misapplied, returns us to the 19th century, replete with military adventurism, interference in the affairs of sovereign nations, rising income inequality, and lax regulation were features of a romanticized golden age. That's correct. That's what I'm saying to them. It's not the same time period. This just doesn't fit us. So I agree with Ron on that one. I'll try to put that in the banners to make it a lot easier for everybody else here. There you go. And there's the bot back up there on AVGO. Yay. Keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that selling was just nonsense. Yeah.
And we do see so far now, advanced decline up 3,500 here. The Qs are up 85 basis points. So, we are seeing it move to the upside so far. Tesla now up 3.28. Steve, does that have a number you like before you would start to look to short?
0. I mean, look, I like what's going on.
How you feel about it?
Elon Musk just had dinner with the president and first lady in Mar-a-Lago.
I did see that.
Yeah, and they all lovey-dovey again. But according to Trump, that and as you say that Truist just dropped Tesla's price target to 439. So Trump even made fun of him, saying 20% of him is dumb. I mean, like, what? So I don't know. Those two are like a love on and love off affair. I don't know. That's crazy.
It is without a doubt. See a pullback across that MNTS. Some of the early morning flyers. Oil and gas still holding up. Yeah. WFRD still up 9%. SLB up by 8%.
I do like Schlumberger, as you mentioned that. I do like Schlumberger. They're also the picks and axe and shovels of the oil world. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Jim Kramer says he likes the semi-complex here. All right. Well, that didn't help me, Jim. Thanks. Yeah, it's kind of. These are holding steady here. I mean, the Dow is now at 524 points now. NASDAQ, you know, this morning the Dow was down and the NASDAQ was up. So here we go, 339 now on ABGF. Yeah, we had found that bottom now. I knew we would. Just you had to kind of find it.
Yeah.
Take that profit. Back to work.
The weekend, David said if this was going to happen, if this was purely an oil play, why would this capture, if you will, of Maduro not occurred in 2019 in the first Trump term when the oil infrastructure was less bad, when output was higher? Remember, former President Joe Biden put a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head earlier in 2025 before he left office. So we've been
Palantir is getting it.
It is.
You want to use for
a heck of a bounty.
It's not some immediate oil play. The oil company stocks are popping on this idea, maybe that your point, you will get this investment at the early stages and try to modernize it. Two big questions: who pays, and that security guarantee, David, that you talked about. If you're going to bring down a couple hundred or a couple thousand American or Western nation workers to go down and approve this, you better darn well make sure.
There we go.
Okay, ABGO gets back together.
Coinbase 252 here, now up 7%, man. Gotta love that. Market is just taking off. I do see. Okay, let's get ready to rumble, you guys.
Where's my boxing gloves?
Everybody, here he comes, Mr. Flanagan in the room. I'm gonna give it to you guys to start off. I'll be on the sidelines watching here.
Oh, stay in here, Howard.
Here, don't worry. I'll be typing in. I'm gonna let you two have the screen.
We gotta get Howard a referee shirt.
I don't think that's the case, Steve. I mean, when you talk about Monroe Doctrine, I mean, we're not that old. You're not 200 years old, dude.
No.
Right? Okay. Well, explain to me why you think that Monroe Doctrine. I just posted from Ron and Sana saying the same thing. That it doesn't really fit here because of who we are as a country now than we were, and how the technology has obviously changed over 206 years. So, why do you think a Monroe Doctrine applies here now?
Look, it's a historical presidential doctrine. Both sides of the aisle have used it over the years. Essentially, 1823, it was used to keep Europe out of our hemisphere. They're using that just as another precursor for what but that's, look, Steve, I like the idea that they brought that to the forefront. As a policy, it's a doctrine. It's not a law. Presidents have used it over and over again. But I think the real thing here, and I got to jump back into my geopolitics, Russia has been selling just recently a dilutant. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it, but something like naphtha. And what it does is it reduces that heavy Venezuelan oil. On top of that, Russia is involved with joint ventures and have been using the shadow fleet that comes out of Venezuela, Iran, all the embargoed countries. So while I see the Monroe Doctrine as a headline, an umbrella in which to operate under, boy, oh boy, this really reeks of geopolitics. And hey, Russia, if you're not going to solve this problem in the Ukraine with us, then we're going to turn up the heat. And this was a one-day thing. And boy, does it turn the heat up on Russia big time. China.
How does it turn the heat up on Russia?
It takes away a massive area in which they've been using in the black market. Remember, we have just taken 3, I believe 3 is the number of these sanctioned oil tankers. So we probably have an awful lot of information that comes as to where they're flying, what flag they're flying, how they've been operating. And so I'm sure that.
Yeah, it is interesting that a tanker was coming from Venezuela to Russia, and they painted the Russian flag on the side to be protected. Didn't stop the United States from attacking that ship and taking it over, right?
Yeah, and so the other thing is this plays right out of the Panama situation with Noriega, and that was a very successful trial against Noriega. Maduro, look, this guy is guilty as guilty can be. So watch. Oh boy!
But we just took their gold, their oil, we took the spoils of the country over.
Yep, and
it's not ours. Isn't that the Venezuelan people's commodities?
Watch the old Norway play here. 5 cents of every barrel of oil sold in the world goes to the Venezuela. Yeah. I mean, there's a win-win situation here all around for the United States. But number one, and most important, it does protect the Western Hemisphere. And keep in mind, 2 elections that we've just had. Chile has just moved to center right.
We can't be the police of Latin America, though, right?
Yeah, but we can't let everything sneak in our back door either. Cuba, that's going to be history shortly. And, look, Marco Rubio, I would have to say, comes out. He's got probably the architect of a lot of this because of his Cuban heritage. But Bolivia's moved center right, and Argentina, their entire legislature is now right lockstep in form with their president. I
love Cuba. I've been to Cuba. I've been to Havana. I love the Cuban people. But they're under dictatorship, so I totally understand it. But what do we do, Steve? Do we go attack that country too?
We don't need to, Steve. It's all economic. It's all muscle. This was a one-day affair. Watch, you already saw comments from the vice president who was sworn in by the Venezuelan Supreme Court. So, this is not like everybody's, of course, people are saying China's going to take Taiwan. No way. No, Totally different. Why? Because if Taiwan falls to China in a military move, then they flick a switch, and on their doorstep is a nuclear-powered Japan.
Right.
And
yes, but you know what?
Okay, so
I don't think China cares.
And my question would be, is it going to be military, or is it going to be what happened in Hong Kong, where you see no one was stepping to say, hey, we're going to give you that. We're coming to your defense, Taiwan. We're coming to your defense, Hong Kong. And Taiwan realizes the T cards say we've got to, succumb to the big guy.
It's a great storyline. I agree. However, keep in mind who the largest investor in China is. Taiwan. So what's going to happen between Taiwan and China is going to be a well-scripted architecture, and it'll be an agreement, and both sides will benefit from it. So I don't see that in any relation with what we just did in Venezuela. That has its own storyline, which plays out over the next years.
What did we do in Venezuela?
We took out a narco terrorist. And if this guy...
And really, is it really about drugs, Steve? Come on.
Well, Steve, it's a popular theme, definitely.
Okay, but is it really about that, or is it about oil and gold?
It's not about, all of the above.
Okay,
I would
can
say
go with that.
probably, in my view, the biggest part is bringing Russia to the table a lot quicker than we thought.
That is the biggest picture piece. I think you're right. This is about bringing Putin under line for Ukraine. It is about oil and gold, but I think it's about a bigger picture about putting Putin in line and saying you're next if you don't get your together.
That's where I think it's coming from. Is it China? China imports about 70 to 85% of the Venezuelan oil, but that only makes 4% of China's oil imports. So that's not the big picture. But it is Russia. Russia has made some new alliances. They've just recently begun selling this diluent to that heavy. So I think that's where it's at. Just
let everybody know here that I did sell my AVGO on that bounce up. Congratulations, Ravi. Paid attention to me on this one. I knew there was a bounce coming, and we got that. So I won both ways on this one. So just be careful out there as you are paying attention. And as we listen, go ahead, Steve. I agree with you. I think this is a bigger picture item. I know it's about oil and gold.
Yep.
Being a former State Department employee, being a former White House guy, I know this is not just about narco-terrorism. This is about a bigger picture. Manuel Noriega was way bigger than Panama.
Yeah.
It was about the destabilization of Latin America because Panama was the biggest canal port, right?
Right.
This is about a bigger picture and about realigning. That's why I don't think it's the Monroe Doctrine. I think this is about realigning. I think you're absolutely right with quantum convergence. You're trying to realign the whole world, but we're doing it in a different way. We know Trump does not like war in general, right? We know that. We know that Trump is very constructive when it comes to the military. Strike in, strike out. Obama didn't do it that way, right? Bush did not do it that way. Reagan kind of did it that way, right? But this is a whole different ball of wax. I think this is about the realignment of the world.
I agree, Steve. I totally agree. I think this is just another piece of the building blocks to the puzzle where the world of quantum convergence begins to take through 2026 and comes to the forefront in 2027. This is a big, big move. Yes, they've got natural resources in Venezuela, but the Venezuelan
not
people,
anymore.
Yeah, but they will be the ones that benefit this because you watch the way they set this up. This is not going to be some grab and take here. No way. This is going to be the Venezuelan people will share in the natural resources. It'll be a litmus test for the rest of South America. And if I was Colombia and wow, the big
watch out. Yeah. Trump was told them that they need to pay attention, right? And Zorro just said it's about oil, gold, and bankers. And you know what? I didn't mention that. She's right. The banker side of this is very important. The bankers were underwater.
Well, watch out, Mexico. That's the big one. And you can already see the comments coming. Watch how fast Mexico turns. Because let's face it, Mexico is afraid to go after their own cartels because they are so well embedded within their structure. And that's really what this is going to do. Again, this Venezuela, yes, there are a lot of benefits to it.
We can't afford to alienate all of Latin America, Steve.
We're not going to alienate, Steve. If all these elections are going our way naturally, and Mexico has a very center of right candidate running it, and she wants to align herself. Remember, let's look at Mexico. They're running negative GDP right now. Yeah. They have a inflation rate of 3.9, which is in the 3% target, plus or minus 1% that Banxico uses. Their interest rates are 7%, and they've come down now about 12 consecutive times. So Mexico has an economic problem right now. While they're on that borderline of dipping into a recession, their unemployment rate is quite low, but things can turn on a dime there. So it is in their interest to get in line. They would benefit dramatically. Mexico, Canada, that's a discussion that's going to go out this year because I think in June, it is the mandatory review of the USMCA. So there's going to be a lot of talk as we get to that point as to how that agreement will be rewritten. And I think Mexico will be very quick and to fall in line here. We're not going to have to take them up. No, there's none of that, Steve. This all gets, there you go, better neighbors.
Okay, I'll ask. All right, Zora. What do you mean by better neighbors? Steve, what do you mean by better neighbors?
Better neighbors is someone that cooperates peacefully. You'll use the headline, stay out of drugs, don't put them in our country. After all, who doesn't know of a child or a kid or a relative at a young age who has had somebody in the sphere die of a drug overdose? I mean, it is horrible and horrific.
Okay, but Steve, tell me the last time that the war on drugs ever worked in this world. Anywhere.
It never has, Steve. But then again, this is a different way of doing things. Hello, Iran, you've got 40 days, ba-boom, on the 40th day. I mean, they gave this guy how many options to leave Venezuela? Okay, you don't want to leave? Boom. I mean, the world right now is sitting back in awe of what we just accomplished. Like,
okay, so Zora just posted, clean up the sewers that pollute San Diego and clean up this cartels. Okay. We took out the biggest cartel kingpin in all of Mexico, and what happened?
Another one jumps in.
17 of them jumped in, right? And the crime violence got worse down there, right? Look, I love it too. I love, it's a good talking point, but actually doing it is not as easy. I mean, the just say no in Reagan time, the opium warlords in coming over from China back in California back in the day. It's never worked, Steve. It's never worked. How about Poppy? I mean, it doesn't work. So when you can scream all about the morality of the United States, I don't think we're the most moral country on the planet. Okay, I don't think we're a country that we okay, hold on real quickly. December's ISM manufacturing coming in 14-month low of 47.9. So the manufacturing is coming in now lower than the 48.4 that we expected there. So I'll post that here for everybody, and we'll get right back to this. I'm loving this conversation. Let's get right back to it. War on drugs, Steve. I mean, it doesn't work.
That's not a reason to do nothing.
Okay, I go with that.
Okay, and
so what do you do?
Well, this is the whole point, Steve. It's going to be Mexico. Clean up your look. There's parts of Mexico that the government won't even go into because it's done by right. So that's all going to change.
I like margaritas. I like going to Cancun. I like going to Cozumel and to the ports. I don't go to Mexico City. I understand, Steve.
Right? Have you been on a Mexican vacation recently?
What, 3 months ago? Maybe I was in the ports.
Okay, that's recent. I have a timeshare down there, and I haven't been there in like 5-6 years because
I'm happy to use that timeshare for you, Steve.
Yeah.
I was about to volunteer too.
The timeshare, Steve.
I ain't scared. Yeah, I am actually someplace. The matter where it is. Yeah. What he didn't mention is it's right at the pass there.
All right, so bringing it to currencies. The Mexican peso closed the week.
Bring the peso chart if you can, Howard, for us.
Yep, you
got it. Closed last week at 17.90. Now, I'm not sure where it's at right now. It is flying, but it's been up to 18.02 already.
Woo!
And
now we definitely got to go to your timeshare because that's a lot of tortillas and tequila.
It's all the way back down at 17.94 and a half. And I'll tell you what. The Mexican peso is one to watch. It has been, as I've told, money moves first, and Mexico is the parking lot at 7%. Used to be at 10%, where all the world parks its money if they don't want to be in the U.S. And that is a place to watch carefully because I think a big change is coming, and I want to get long dollar Mex. I am long dollar Mex right here. And I think that you're looking at a play back up into 1850 and maybe even seeing the 19 level again, because I don't want to be near the Mexican peso. Too much money is there. And when that currency moves, as you can see overnight, it moved 12 big figures just from Friday's close.
And there's a big impact if Sheinbaum continues to speak. So we know she's not going to be quiet, and she's telling Trump what she thinks. So yeah, I think there's a lot of volatility in the peso right here.
And she's got a weak economy behind her. So this is the Achilles heel that I think Trump will exploit here.
Is that what Trump is doing? He thinks he has a very strong economy. We all know here he doesn't. But is he, in his mind, is that part of his strategy here?
Well, Steve, the K economy, then I understand what you said.
Right.
But the numbers are showing a strong economy.
For us.
Yes. And I think in 2026, I think the broadening out of this economic growth in the United States is going to be the big subject, which is why the U.S. markets are so poised here to move up. It doesn't take much, and your market is up like today. Boom. Because everybody realizes all the tax benefits that are coming down the road. I mean, this is the price of oil had been down. It's a huge stimulus. And looking around the world, there is not really a growth situation as an alternative investment. While everybody likes to jump on the Eurozone as a major investment, you look at the euro dollar, it is just barely hanging on here at 1680 level, and it's already below last week's close and last year's close, which is also something you want to keep a very close eye on. So I think it's the dollar by default. The Mexican peso is the one I'm going to watch very carefully, because that to me is going to lead a lot of this money out of the parking lot in Mexico, because now there is inherent risk of sitting in a high yielding account in Mexico.
Right. I agree with that. And I'm looking at Bitcoin right now, 93.3 right now. Yeah. So, okay.
Here's the wild card. Watch the former Venezuelan president suddenly say, okay, and turn belly up. And if he starts revealing the details that everybody wants, look out.
What does he want?
Well, he could begin.
You mean the new Venezuelan president, the woman, or you mean the former vice president, but now the president, or you mean Nicolas Maduro?
Maduro.
Well, Maduro's behind bars in prison, right? I think he's about to go to the Southern District, right? I think he's downtown where we always hang out.
And if he suddenly starts talking the details of what's behind,
yes, is that what? That's what you totally hit the point, Steve.
Yep. If he suddenly shows the quote unquote narco terrorist, if he suddenly shows the network, how money moved, how oil moved, and how everything's been going on, let's face it, where has that money been working its way into the United States? There's so many unanswered questions, but what I can say, I feel confident that there's a much larger thing at play here than just picking up Nicolas Maduro and taking oil and resources. So,
all right. So I'm going to nail you on that. What is it, the bigger picture? You said Russia earlier, but I think there's the even bigger picture. And I think that bigger picture is the realignment of the world in Trump's eyes.
I totally agree, Steve, that in order to be a friendly neighbor, as one of our comments has suggested, a friendly neighbor is, look, if you want to participate in this world that we are engineering and moving into, which is foundational of technology, because technology breaks out through borders. There are no borders to the technology gains, to the internet that Elon Musk has put up, right? That everybody in the world can benefit from. And that's the world order. I like to call it quantum convergence, because the new world order has such, single leadership. It's not single leadership. United States may lead it, but China will be a major player in this new world that we move towards, because they're a major player in technology. And we share.
Trump hates NATO. We hate BRICS. So do you see a realignment and I've been a part of it for many years, the G7 or some of the 8 and I was in Denver. Is that the new realignment where Trump creates a new thing? So it's the major players. So it'll be China, Japan, Russia, us, and we all talk amongst each other quietly. a realignment and a new. I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, a new summit. I don't know, but it seems to be that he really wants to be the major player and own the world in a way that realigns it in his eyes.
I don't think he wants to own the world, Steve, because I think that this guy's vision is far bigger than that. What he wants is the United States way of life, freedom, and choice to be available to all. I would say this. Everybody talks about BRICS. Okay, who's leading BRICS? Nobody.
Nobody, I don't think. Yeah.
They can't even make a decision where to meet.
Right.
Who is leading this era would be clearly the United States. Somebody is making the decisions and moving in a very direct manner. And I think that that's how things get accomplished in this world, right?
Okay.
Machinery, technology, it's very decisive in where it moves. It's not, well, let's figure out who, I don't want to meet there, I want to meet here. No. So the BRICS, I think, was a nice idea, but they're never going to accomplish
it. Was their idea. That's what I'm saying. That's their idea. Trump's idea is different, right? He wants to do it in his eyes. So that's my point. Like, how does he I mean, if we want to go way back and talk about the Monroe Doctrine, let's talk about the League of Nations. Woodrow Wilson, right? It was in his eyes that created the League of Nations, which became NATO, right? So is that what he wants to create, a new NATO? Government hates you, Steve. I think we got to get back to it. Just do a restart and come back in, and we'll bring you back in here. Wow, Howard. I'm surprised you didn't come in a referee with the boxing gloves and everything, man.
No. You guys are playing nice. Nice.
And for those of you who don't know, Howard knows the same too. Steve Flanagan and I have been friends for many decades. So it's like,
get him back in here.
Hey,
there we go.
The government hates you. The CIA hates you, Steve. They don't want you talking about this, man.
I guess, I don't know. I think that a decisive decision-making and leadership is the only thing lacking in the world. And I think now you're beginning to see that.
We've had the doctrine of speak softly and carry a big stick for decades, right? This is a flip of that. This is speak loudly and beat the hell out of everybody now, I guess.
Well, who did we beat the heck out of, Steve? You mentioned BRICS.
Tariffs. I mean, the first thing Trump did was tariffs, so we're beating the heck out of them economically.
What happened? What has tariff caused? At a 4% GDP growth, what has tariffs really? Is it increased inflation by 0.6?
I can tell you that the Fed says that it has not. Some Fed members say that. Some Fed members say it has. I think it's out right now. We don't know yet exactly about how because the tariffs really haven't come in and brought all the money in. I know Trump's saying has brought in $50 trillion or whatever the willy-nilly number is coming out of his head. I need to see real numbers. I need to understand that, and that real data is not here, Steve.
I don't want to talk Fed because, like, I watched Kashkari this morning, and
I agree.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Tell me what Kashkari said this morning. I couldn't believe what he said.
The Fed is close to neutral.
This is the guy who has been against this forever, right? Now he's changing.
Inflation is still too high, but then goes on to say inflation is trending down, and he's confident that the housing service inflation is moving down. And by the way, AI is a big company story from what I hear. It has
jobs are cooling. Yeah.
Come on. You're supposed to be running the central bank. You're one of the governors. Tell me you've got more knowledge than that.
That guy likes the TV commercials, and he likes TV more than I do. He likes the camera more than I do, I think. Look.
They're all the same there, Steve. They are so out of touch. And the same thing can be said with the ECB. Suddenly, we've got rates at 2%, and we're going to stay here. Okay, your economy is still cratering. Germany's operating at a negative GDP.
UN Chief Gutierrez now says they are ready to support all efforts aimed at assisting Venezuelans in finding a peaceful way forward. What does that mean from out of the UN?
That, Steve, again, here's another group that's going, you can fight Trump and you can say you broke international law, which
Yeah.
then Trump can
Which
say,
he has. He doesn't
Right.
care. I don't think he cares.
And he goes Monroe Doctrine, and you know what? Stay out of our hemisphere. I mean, after all, let's say who was the biggest? China was buying oil and not using the dollar with Venezuela.
Right.
So
The
talk
petrodollar.
about a shot to the BRICS in doing this, another thing. So yeah, the UN is going to be, because believe me, this didn't just happen out of thin air. This is a well thought out. I mean, just look at its execution.
I'm not going to change the subject, but I'm going to bring you up right now with Denmark's prime minister is coming. I think it kind of adds to this. Denmark's prime minister now just says, I think U.S. President Trump is serious about wanting to take over Greenland. Both Denmark and Greenland have clearly said no. I think we take over Greenland.
Denmark, hello? Is that the little mouse that roared?
Ooh.
I'm sorry. But you know what? It's up to the Greenland people, and they have within their constitution the ability this year to call a referendum if they want. And
All
then
right, what if they don't? Does Trump take it over?
No.
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
he's not. Steve, it's so easy to jump into this guy's taking over the world. If you're going to call a 24-hour excursion into Venezuela, taking a guy who's already
an excursion, it's not like taking a Royal Caribbean cruise line down to Caracas and saying, hi, I want to have a few drinks down here.
Yeah, have you been watching the old Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd movie? It's just Czechoslovakia. We'll run in, we'll run out. That's not what it is.
The guy's indicted and wanted in court. I mean, so I'm not looking at this as anything more than another piece to the puzzle in moving down the line to a world of quantum convergence that is already been based. It's already moving forward at lightning speed. And guess what? Get involved or be left behind. That's up to you.
Okay.
And that's the thing facing Europe right now. They're concerned about what we're going to do in Greenland. You're missing the whole point. We don't need Greenland. What we need in Greenland is maybe let some companies in there and start expanding some of their natural resources.
All right. So all of these geopolitical issues we've talked around now. What's the biggest one, Steve, in your mind that we really need to pay attention to?
Right now, I would say Russia and the Ukraine, because I think that moves very quickly to the forefront because I think of this move in Venezuela. You're basically stopping this, what do they call them? The shadow fleet. I think we have a lot more information than has been released on where these shadow fleets, you've even mentioned one of them had the Russian flag painted onto it. And I think that's taken a major area. Remember, Russia can't afford to be in the Ukraine if they don't have money. And they have a lot of money because they've been able to skirt the whole world's sanctions on raising money. So that's where I'd be watching very carefully. I think China doesn't do anything. I think China sits back. They're getting their economy. They've just front-loaded $42 billion worth of an infrastructure stimulus plan early 26. I think China is focusing on their domestic. See, that's the whole point, Steve. Everybody has to focus on their domestic economies. Europe, China, Russia, because if they don't, they have bigger problems.
That's what I think. I agree with
and
you.
While they're now focusing domestically, the United States is executing their plans in moving forward.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching. We're at 3,000 viewers. I love it. We've hit some of the biggest numbers over the weekend. We had a poll over the weekend. Did you agree with Trump's position here on Venezuela and takeover? And it got a pretty good numbers. Steve, when we looked at the numbers this morning, it seemed to be a very popular poll. And that poll was seen, believe it or not, by 282,000 views with 15,000 votes, with a 55.8% approval rating and 44% said no. So I think you're in the right place. I think the majority of people do support the president on this. And I do support the president as long as we don't go deeper. That's what I'm saying. I think if he does it the way he's doing it now and doesn't try to take over the country as if we're dictators ourselves, I think he's in the right thing.
I totally agree with that, Steve. And, it is being run by its own people. Its own Supreme Court has authorized. So we need to stay out of, any boots on the ground and that type of prolonged affair. I think it's only positives. Let's see what Maduro comes forward. Does he, spend the rest of his life in jail?
Probably.
Or does he turn belly up and begin to show what actually has been going on behind the scenes?
If I look back at Nicholas for Manuel Noriega, he died in 2017. So, he pretty much stayed most of his life. For those of you who don't know, it was Panama, and we took over Panama. What we found out about Manuel Noriega down the line was that he was a CIA informant.
Yeah.
Are we going to find out the same thing about Nicolas Maduro?
No, I don't think so, Steve. I think that this guy is just what he is. He's a drug lord. I think the big difference this time around is his wife's with him and going to do time. And I think that the two of them will be offered a beautiful paradise at some luxury island and money, and he can live out his life in peace. But he's going to have to turn, evidence over to the state. And I think that that's a huge difference this time around.
All right. You talk about it from that perspective, then I have to go even back further. The Philippines, the Aquino family, right? Corazon Aquino, she did live her life out. I think it was right in Hawaii, right? We gave her a big Hawaiian palace. I think you're right. Is that what happens?
And she was able to keep her shoe collection too.
Good God. I mean, even my wife's loves her shoe collection. Yes. But those two did not turn anything over that really told us anything more than we didn't know already, correct?
I would think that what he turns over is factual evidence that then can be put in front of Putin and say, we're well aware of what's going on. And guess what? It's over.
So this is getting to the bottom of this. Is this what Trump is wanting? The smoking gun to go after Putin?
I think what he's showing is he's willing to go to rather great lengths to knock off the war in the Ukraine and Russia. He had an ulterior motive here, no question about it. Oil, gold, and the people of Venezuela well behind him. And I think that, the cards and the alignment were perfect. But I think he is showing the world, like, don't test me. I mean, every time he's proven, I'm going to give you a period of time. You either listen and stick to my deadline, or there's going to be consequences. Just look at Iran.
And with that, I'm gonna leave it. I'm not even gonna give a last word. I like that answer. I like that answer a lot, Steve. All right, for those of you Quasar Markets, thank you so much. We have big numbers today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.